why they felt no need to get depth. You know, they love depth, but why they felt no need to get depth at defensive line, defensive end is beyond me. You know, I'm Al Qadim Muhammad's biggest supporter, but going out there with Hutch and Al Qadim Muhammad and saying, "All right, we got this, guys." Meanwhile, you staring down Lamar Jackson. Man, that's a tough recipe to
Right.
ask me to cook.
This Brad Holmes putting us in our place, man. How dare us ask him for an edge? The
And
media and the fans asking me for an edge. How dare they? I show them.
well, now that we passed that third grade pop quiz, we got the ACT in front of us now. The Lions are leaving the friendly confines of Ford Field, and they are going on the road to take on the Baltimore Ravens. That game, I think that game will be very exciting. That's the understatement of the year.
I don't know how I feel about this game. If you ask me in my heart of hearts, I would have to say honestly, I don't think we beat the Ravens this year. That's not to say I don't think we can beat the Ravens. I think we can go out and beat the Ravens, but I think that in order for us to beat the Ravens, we have to go out and play a perfect game. And I just don't think we're there yet in the mind state yet to play a perfect game. As great as we played yesterday, I did see a couple of flaws. Like I said, the defensive got three turnovers, 3 takeaways, and the offense didn't put up anything but 3 points. And against a better team, that could have lost us the game. There's no way that the defense causes a fumble, stops, causes a fourth down conversion turnover, stops them on the 1 yard line twice, and then gets an interception, and you don't put up anything but 3 points back to back consecutively. You get that turn and you go 3 and out. I don't know if it was 3 and out, but no, your drive stalled out 3 times in a row. And that's been a problem with our offense from the beginning, man. We always have a time period in the game where we just lag out, where we can't move the ball, or we can't get anything going for a quarter or two. And then for the other 2 quarters, we're just on fire. There's no stopping us. When we play teams like Buffalo or we play teams like Baltimore, we need a no mistake game, and I'm just not sure that the Lions are. I think they will get to that point, but I mean, especially if they have the focus that they have with learning their assignments and doing what they did from this week compared to last week compared to this week. If they can keep that and keep improving upon that like they did this week, then we'll get there. But I'm just not sure we're there yet.
I wouldn't even say the offense needs to play near perfect, because the offense can be mediocre and still put up 30 points. This is going to be Kelvin Shepherd's first real test. You could say that the Packers game was his first test, but that was his first game. You know, so that's a freebie right there. You know, it's his first game. Let him get a feel for it. The second game, you got to go against the Bears. Like you said, they were able to generate 4 sacks. This game, you might be without Marcus Davenport. you know, and it's just why they felt no need to get depth. You know, they love depth, but why they felt no need to get depth at defensive line, defensive end is beyond me. You know, I'm Al Qadim Muhammad's biggest supporter, but going out there with Hutch and Al Qadim Muhammad and saying, "All right, we got this, guys." Meanwhile, you staring down Lamar Jackson. Man, that's a tough recipe to
Right.
ask me to cook.
Brad Holmes putting us in our place, man. How dare us ask him for an edge? The
And me,
media and the fans asking me for an edge. How dare they? I show them.
so so on a positive note, former Lion, still giving the league hell. Kyle Van Noy is going to be out this game. He's going to be out for the next couple of weeks, so we won't see him. But of course, we will see Mike Green, a guy that I was super high on. I didn't see. I just didn't see any reason not to take this guy. He's played well so far as a rookie. So we'll get a up close and personal look at this guy. I'm sure, you know, he may or may not, but you know, he might think something of the Lions. Hey, the Lions needed an edge rusher, and they passed on me, and they said that I wasn't good enough to be there. So he might have that chip on his shoulder. He was from Eastern Michigan, or he wasn't from there. He just went to school there. But yeah, he might have a little chip on his shoulder. But really, huh? Marshall. But he might have a little chip on the shoulder. And the real question though is, man, how do they stop Lamar Jackson? Dan Campbell versus elite runner, elite quarterback, elite dual threat quarterbacks. The record can't be that great. And on top of that, when we saw Baltimore last, I'm not sure they had Derrick Henry. They may or may not have had.
Didn't.
Okay, they didn't have Derrick Henry. DeAndre Hopkins is slowly having a resurgence year. Zay Flowers is coming into his own. Oh man, it's gonna be is everybody's gonna have their hands full.
Like you said, going up against DeAndre Hopkins and Zay Flowers, man, they're gonna have to be on their A game. And you said this.
And don't forget your boy Tez Walker. Tez Walker out there. He scored 2 touchdowns last game.
Oh, okay. And likely out there. So yeah, man, the defense is definitely gonna have their hands full. And you said it's gonna be a test for what you said about being a test for Calvin Shepherd. I mean, it's definitely gonna be a test for him, because in the past, we've always wondered if it was Dan Campbell, because the Lions have always had this way of handling, like, running quarterbacks where they don't fully rush the running quarterbacks. They'll kind of, keep a perimeter so he can't get past them. And I'm interested to see if Calvin Shepherd keeps that same thing, or if he fully goes after him. Does he feel like he needs to be aggressive, or does he feel like they need to hang back and make sure that he doesn't get outside the line? So I'll be interested to see on how they attack.
I think if you see a blitz on Lamar Jackson's first possession, Dan Campbell will come off screen and hit Kelvin Shepherd in the back of the head with a chair. I think offensively, I think that the Ravens are going to invite Jared Goff to try to connect with JMO, and everything else they're going to try to take away. So I think it's going to come down to how fast can Jared Goff get comfortable in the game. These the past couple weeks, we've seen that it takes like a whole half before Jared Goff can settle in.
Right.
You're not gonna have a whole half against Baltimore.
Right.
They would like nothing more to run up the score and sit on that lead. That's what they've done to us in the past. That's what they do to a lot of teams. That's what they did against the Browns last week. We are clearly better than the Browns, but that's just what Baltimore does. They're similar to us. If they could if they could put up points, they're gonna put up points, and they're not gonna slow down for anything. And they are disgusted. You know, Lamar Jackson is disgusted if he's got a punt, if they got a punt. You know, you can see the disgust and disdain in his face for not executing on the drive. So you know, they're gonna have their hands full, and I'm gonna be excited to see the how do the Lions respond to being underdogs, because they embrace that mentality, and sometimes they pretend that they're underdogs, but they're really not. But this game, they're going to be underdogs. So I hope that they're able to channel that and really embrace it and go out there and shock the world, because I don't think anybody's going to be picking them to win.
No, they're definitely gonna be underdogs, and they probably need to be, man. When it comes to fame, in Detroit, it's always been in a lower tier market, and I feel like the Detroit has been so good, and Dan Campbell has brought so much attention to the team that they are getting a lot more commercial deals and a lot more interviews, and they're on the national stage a little bit more than a Detroit team usually would be. And I'm not going to say it's gotten to them, because what I'm saying, they apparently they still have the same gritty culture and outlook, but it didn't show in that Green Bay game, man. It showed like in the Green Bay game, it felt like they had that we're supposed to win mentality. You know what I'm saying? That we're supposed to be here, not that, what I'm saying, we fighting for every inch mentality. And even the announcers were saying it during the Green Bay game. It seems like Detroit is Green Bay and Green Bay is Detroit. So
yeah. The media, the Lions have become the fashionable pick. I went to Kroger. I went to Kroger earlier today, and I'm in the cereal aisle, and all of out of the corner of my eye, I see a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, and there was a guy standing next to the B, standing on his head. And I'm like, what? And I look, and sure enough, you got Saint. And Saint is really the Dan Campbell and Saint are definitely the engineers of the whole popularity of Detroit.
yeah,
Saint has one of the most popular sports podcasts in the world. People love his podcast. People tune in every week. And it's a good podcast. And then Dan Campbell definitely has endeared himself to the hearts of many people. So I understand it, but yeah, to your point, against Green Bay, it felt like I can't remember the movie. I can't remember. It felt like Major League. Maybe it was Major League 2. And Major League,
Major League 2, yeah.
and Major League 1, it was a ragtag group of guys, and nobody believed in them. And boom, they hit the ground running and made it to they won the playoff series regardless.
Right.
The series, and now they coming in next year. Everybody knows who they are. They doing commercials.
Right, yeah.
And then they come across a group of people that are just there to play ball, and they get smacked all season really. But yeah, man, it just kind of seemed like we showed up getting out of limos in that Green Bay game. It seemed like we showed up getting out of limos, and
Right.
they pulled up in the pickup trucks and carried their own bags and
Right.
did what they had to do. So yeah, this is gonna be an opportunity to get back to where we came from.
Yeah, to my point, man. I saw a commercial yesterday. They're doing a whole Tonight Show live from Detroit, where Hutch is going to be one of the guest stars. It's an all Detroit cast, and I was like, wow. When's the last time you seen that?
Yeah, Detroit has definitely come a long way, and the only thing that I constantly harp on is that I just hope that at some point one of these teams, man, finishes the deal, and that just goes back to what I firmly believe. Why not? Brad's like, oh, they just want an edge rusher because they don't love Hutch, and it's like, no, it's you gotta factor in the humanity of sports, and the same way that the Bears struggle because they just bring in everybody willy nilly, and you have so many different voices that probably are on all different sides of the page. You got to look at it. Yeah. All we hear about is if you bring in the wrong guy, it'll mess up the locker room. But you got to look at it on the flip side. What if you bring in this guy and he challenges people, and forces the locker room to respond? Hey, he might be so bad that the locker room all comes together and say, I don't care what this guy is saying. We got to prove that this guy is wrong, and we got to go out there and play better. That's the worst case scenario. But the best case scenario is you do get a leader who entrenches, and that's what I thought Carlton Davis was. Just that outside voice that his play represented his talk. Remember when he first came to Detroit and we saw him in the opening presser with the sunglasses on.
Kind of lackadaisical. Hey, what's up? What's up, Detroit? Yeah, new corner. I'll be here.
I watched that press conference the same way I watched, CJGJ when he first came. Like, yup, this is another guy that ain't gonna make it. But that's why we love sports, man, because when you get a player who does something on the field, does enough on the field that forces you to make that 180 on what you originally thought of that player, that's and I thought that's what we were going to see from Carlton Davis, but they decided to move on. They grabbed DJ Reed, but I think the lesson is there that you can find the right guy. And I don't think Carlton Davis did anything that we know of, maybe something behind closed doors. But from what we could see as fans and people who watch the Lions, Carlton Davis definitely endeared himself to the locker room. You always be sending me Terrion Arnold interviews and stuff. And he did an interview and he cited, how big of an influence Carlton Davis was on him, and how he just fit right in that locker room. So, I think Carlton Davis definitely left his mark, and I just wish they would go out and get a replacement guy who Carlton Davis was like a Pro Bowl type player. He wasn't a Pro Bowler last year, but just that veteran who's been there, and when he challenges you, he's gonna back it up on the field. And I just think that to me will be what will put the Lions over the top.
Yeah, I can see that. But I don't know if those guys are just readily available, man.
They're not readily available. But that's when you need to shake something up. This game against the Ravens screams to me that this is a game where they're going to need Sam Laporta. They're going to need a big body who's open across the middle of the field that Jared Goff can get the ball to, because they're going to be watching St. Brown. They're going to be challenging Goff to go deep to JMO, and Goff. if the wind is 1 mile per hour too fast, he'll check down out of that so quick. So on and so forth. Gibbs, all those people. But my point is, man, that there are so many weapons on this team, and to go to the whole, St. Brown is really embraced being a celebrity. Dan Campbell, everybody's embracing this. It gives the country club vibe, like, hey man, we drafted you, you're a good player, you good. and everybody, if you got drafted by us and you're a Pro Bowl type player, you good. And do we really need 2 Pro Bowl caliber running backs, 2 Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers, a Pro Bowl caliber tight end, in the right system? He's not in the right system, but in the right system, Isaac Tesla could be a rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year candidate. Do we need all of these things? So it's like, yeah, those players aren't readily available, but man, at what point do you step away from this country club mentality that you're doing, and you might have to shake it up, man? You could and it's okay to shake it up. It's okay. You could talk to Laporta, you can see what he's feeling, where he wants to go. And I'm not saying to take anything less than 2 seconds. I'm not taking anything less than 2 seconds. That would be my asking price. And if I can't get it, then hey, then we ride the contract out. But if you intend to bring back Laporta just to have all these weapons around Jared Goff, and not even it's not even possible to be able to use them every game, it is. I don't agree with that strategy.
I think they're going to keep Laporta for as long as they can, but I also feel like it depends on what happens in the draft next year. If a star rookie tight end falls in their lap, then they might be looking to trade Laporta, because you get them on a brand new rookie contract. And to your point, we got so many weapons that, like I think I said this before, that Laporta is going to be the odd man out. I mean, with all the contracts coming up, you had to pay Saint, you paid J-Mo, you paid Goff, you paid Sewell. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay Gibbs. Yeah, I mean, you can't pay everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I think the guy that you don't pay is Laporta, and not to say, and like you said, it's not Laporta is not worth it, but you just can't pay everybody. And a tight end is a luxury. And
not to cut you off, you can pay everybody, but if you do, this is your team like forever. And I don't think that this team is as good as it was last year.
Detroit basketball.